Would you enjoy it while you were doing it?
What's the worst part of it? I really didn't plan. I know better, restless.
And then one time you said you were trying to realize what you were doing and you covered her up without taking anything.
That's right.
This is the story of Ed Gein, the butcher of Plainfield. Ed was born in 1906 in Wisconsin. His dad was an alcoholic, never really around. His mom was the total opposite, super strict, super religious, and honestly, controlling as hell. She taught him that women were evil, that the world was full of sin, and that basically everyone was going to hell except her. She ruled the house with fear and guilt. Every day, she'd sit Ed and his brother down and read straight from the Bible, mostly the parts about sin, punishment, and hell. She drilled it into their heads that women, except for her, were instruments of sin, that they brought temptation and evil into the world. She barely let them talk to anyone. No friends, no social life, no childhood, nothing. If Ed even tried to make a friend, Augusta would lose it. She'd say other kids were dirty, that they'd ruin him. So he stayed home. And the weird thing is, he loved her for it. He worshiped her. She was the only person he really knew, the only voice he trusted. She told him what was right and wrong, what to fear, what to hate, and when you grow up hearing that every day, that becomes your reality. In 1915, the family moved to a small farm in Plainfield, Wisconsin, basically the middle of nowhere. That's where Ed spent almost his whole life. No neighbors close by, no friends to visit, just miles of empty fields and silence. And that isolation just made everything his mom taught him sink in even deeper. People in town said the Gein family was strange. Ed would show up to school with weird expressions, always quiet, always staring. He'd laugh at the wrong moments, and teachers said he seemed off, like he was in his own little world, but no one really did anything. It was the early 1900s, and mental health wasn't something people talked about back then. Imagine growing up like that and no one around to show you what normal life looks like. That's the kind of childhood that built Ed Gein. He didn't learn how to live, he learned how to fear. That's how twisted it was. His dad died in 1940. Then his brother Henry started questioning their mom, saying she was too much. In 1944, Henry dies in a fire on the farm. Nobody really questioned it, but people always thought it was weird how Ed just found his brother's body. The story goes, there was this fire out on the farm. The police report said the two brothers were out there burning brush, trying to clear the land. At some point, the fire got out of control. Ed told the authorities that he lost sight of Henry in all the smoke, so he went to the sheriff and said his brother was missing. They gathered a search team. Night falls, torches out, everyone's looking. And here's the strange part. Ed leads them straight to Henry's body, like he already knew exactly where Henry was lying. When they found Henry, he had bruises on his head, not burns. The fire hadn't even touched him. The official cause of death was listed as asphyxiation, like he breathed in too much smoke. Some of the locals whispered that maybe Ed and Henry had an argument that day. Henry had been talking bad about their mom, saying she was too controlling, saying Ed needed to break free. And for Ed, who saw his mom as a literal saint, that was crossing a line. But the police back then didn't dig deeper. No forensics. No one thought some quiet farm boy could be dangerous. People never forgot how easily Ed found that body. Some say that was the first time something dark inside him woke up and he never turned back after that. Then a few years later, his mom dies, and that's when everything fell apart for him. The rest of the house became a mess, but her room stayed spotless, like a shrine. He'd sit by the door and talk to her. That's when Ed Gein stopped being weird guy on the farm and started turning into something else. After his mom died, Ed got obsessed with death. He'd read books about anatomy, Nazi experiments, and grave robbing. He even started sneaking into cemeteries at night, digging up women who looked like his mom. He'd take their bodies home, cut them up, and make things out of them. Masks, furniture, even a full suit made of human skin. He said he just wanted to feel close to his mom again. That's not something a normal mind says. That's someone who's completely gone. At some point, digging up bodies wasn't enough. In 1954, a woman named Mary Hogan disappeared. She owned a tavern nearby. People thought she ran away. No one looked too deep into it. Then in 1957, another woman named Bernice Worden went missing from her hardware store. Her son was a deputy, and he found a sales slip from Ed Gein. She'd written his name down before she vanished. So police went out to Ed's farm to check it out. What they found inside, no one was ready for. Bernice Worden's body was hanging upside down, skinned like a deer. Inside the house, there were human skulls turned into bowls, chairs covered in skin, masks made from faces. They found a woman's suit made out of skin, He was calm when they arrested him, like it was normal. He told police, "I didn't mean to do anything wrong." Ed was arrested and charged with murder, but it was obvious he wasn't mentally okay. He was declared insane and sent to a mental hospital instead of prison. Doctors said he had schizophrenia and psychosis. He never showed anger or guilt, he just kind of existed. He stayed locked up for the rest of his life, working odd jobs around the hospital, reading. But even after he died, his story kept spreading. Hollywood grabbed it. Norman Bates in Psycho, Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, all of them were based on him. Netflix even made a series called Monster, the Ed Gein story. It dives deep into his life, his mom, and how he became who he was. It's not just about the horror, it's about how someone can lose their mind completely when they're left alone with their trauma. Some think he killed more than 2 people, but there's no proof. His house burned down before it could be auctioned off. A lot of people in town think someone did it on purpose to get rid of that evil energy. And then there's his brother Henry. A lot of people still wonder what really happened to him. But those answers are gone with Ed. Nobody will ever really know. The thing about Ed Gein's story is it's not just horror. It's a mix of loneliness, obsession, and insanity. He wasn't born evil. He was built into it by his mom, by his isolation, by everything around him. And that's what makes it creepier, because people like that, they look normal. You'd never think twice if he walked by you. That's the story of Ed Gein, the real-life butcher of Plainfield. Let me know what you think. Was he pure evil or just completely broken? And if you like hearing stories like this, you already know what to do. Drop a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there.